Kling Kong in Connecticut doing damage in Brooklyn. Donovan Clingan, 14 points, 14 rebounds, 8 blocks. Oh, yeah, spot shadow me. Love that. Kling Kong was a beast, and UConn was a beast in Brooklyn as they reached the Sweet 16. The first defending national champion to reach the Sweet 16 since Duke in 2016. 75-58, the final. Tristan Newton, 20 points. Cam Spencer with 11 as well. The story, part of it in the paint. How's your paint game? The Huskies outscored the Wildcats 52-26 in the paint, and they are moving on to Boston to play in the Sweet 16. Back here with Chip Patterson. Chip, you had the over on Donovan Clingan's points. You could have had the over on his rebounds. You could have had the over on his blocks. My goodness. What did you see from Kling Kong?
In this performance, it was even more than what I thought we were going to get, because I knew there was going to be a size advantage going up against Northwestern, that the Wildcats didn't have anyone, I mean, who does, to go against the 7'2" big man, because he's just so impactful. And I think I see this UConn team and Dan Hurley wanting to slowly warm him up, knowing that winning a national championship will require him imposing his will and taking over games, and that is exactly what he did in this game. The funny thing about UConn winning in such dominant fashion is that they were horrendous from three, just 3 of 22 from behind the arc.
Yeah.
They had a lot of missed free throws, 14 of 20 from the line. That is subpar. But when you've got a dynamic duo, that inside presence with Donovan Clingan, that engine of the offense with Tristan Newton, who knows when to push, when to slow down, how to set up his teammates for easy buckets, they just win so many different ways. When we talk about UConn being in that top tier, we're not being lazy. It's that no matter how you want to play the game, UConn's got an answer. Are they going to be a little bit off in one area? They're not going to be off in all of the areas, and I think that's what we saw against Northwestern.
So you know Danny Hurley is a perfectionist. He's also the king of superstitions. What is he going to be saying to his team? If you were him and you're going in the locker room and you celebrate for a little bit, but then you get back to Stores and you go, for me, I feel like I think he's going to get a whiteboard, right, and draw and write 3 for 22 and 14 for 20, what you just pointed out, and said, this is not championship level basketball. And with all due respect to Northwestern, but the teams waiting in the weeds for us will destroy us if we do that. If we have that kind of performance down the road in the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, if we get to Final Four and we have that, we're not winning.
The East is a beast, and you're 100% right about that. And I know what numbers he's going to put up there. 40-35. What's 40-35? That's Northwestern outscoring UConn after halftime. He's going to put on the second half tape, and he's going to show the way that Northwestern, by the way, with Boo Buie limited to just 9 points, Langborn had a good game, and Northwestern was able to scratch and claw, and you never really were sweating the ultimate result. Maybe you were sweating the final margin, but I think that when you are a perfectionist like Dan Hurley, you're going to be going back to that second half, and you say, if we relent at all in our Sweet 16 matchup, or if we relent at all in a potential Elite Eight matchup against those top-end teams, I mean, Illinois, Iowa State, they will get you if you play that way like they did in the second half. And so I think that is going to be what the perfectionist points to, that they did everything great at the beginning. I mean, we're talking about a game where UConn led for 38 minutes and 31 seconds, never trailed. It was tied for a minute, Hakeem, a minute. But still, there are areas to improve, and I think it's mostly in the second half. But still, we celebrate Donovan Clingan, we celebrate Tristan Newton, and we see that the reigning national champions, with a lot of different ways to win, they are moving on to the Sweet 16.
And they could be facing the team they beat in the national championship 1 year ago in San Diego State, or it could be Yale, the team from Connecticut, the other team from Connecticut, from New Haven, the Ivy League champion. If you face one of those teams, and obviously if you're UConn, you want to face Yale, San Diego State creates some more problems for you.
Sure.
So if you're looking at San Diego State, you're going back and you're going to watch this game on probably the bus back to Stores. What are you identifying if you're Dan Hurley in this game between San Diego State and Yale?
They want to see what the offensive rhythm that San Diego State does that helps set up Jaden Ledee, because Ledee is doing everything for this Aztecs offense. We know San Diego State's one of the best defensive teams. That is an all 5 guys buy in exactly on what Brian Dutcher wants to do. But offensively, it doesn't always look smooth, and sometimes it's late shot clock hero ball. The only thing is Ledee is really good at playing hero ball, and he's making it happen time and time again. And so that's where I think that they're going to be going and looking at this game, and they're trying to see, all right, so what did Yale do to try to disrupt things for Ledee, to make him uncomfortable? That's the guy you got to stop for San Diego State, because he can put the Aztecs on his back, and he can carry them deep into this tournament. If you shut him down, I am not sure that there are enough secondary options for San Diego State to be able to take down a team of UConn's caliber.
We are in the moment right now, so we are waiting for what happens between Houston and Texas A&M. Of the 3 other number 1s that have moved on to the Sweet 16, so UConn, UNC, and Purdue, which of those 3 teams impressed you the most this first week of the NCAA tournament? Who made a statement? Who said, okay, I have more belief in this team. I have more faith in this team. This team has inspired me.
Do you see me getting geared up because I'm working on a story for CBSSports.com right now on this very topic? It is the Purdue Boilermakers, because I think what we saw across those wins were 28 and 39 points in those 2 wins for the Purdue Boilermakers. And look, there's not a lot of room to go up as I'm re-ranking the teams of the Sweet 16, but they need to go up. They need to jump ahead of the Houston Cougars. They need to challenge UConn for the top spot in this field as we head into the second weekend, because it wasn't just Zach Edey. I mean, they were able to get contributions all across the board. Foster Loyer had a very big game in their second-round win against Utah State. And speaking of Utah State, those were the regular season champions of the Mountain West Conference, and Purdue just picked them apart thoroughly. 1.4 points per possession. That is otherworldly. And I think that the way that Purdue handled its business accomplished 2 things. Number 1, it got rid of the ghosts of FDU.
Yep.
And number 2, it refocused them to show them what they can accomplish when the entire team is all in sync, one of the most dangerous teams in the entire country, surrounding the best player in the entire country in Zach Edey.
You know why I asked you that question, Chip? Because we play the hits here on HQ. We play the hits. We are here, and we play the hits. We're also in Brooklyn. Matt Norlander will join us in a moment. UConn playing the hits. The 3-headed monster. You know who's been playing the hits? The Big East. They only got 3 teams in, but they're 8-0 this tournament. UConn, Marquette, Creighton, the beasts from the Big East, and they are reigning supreme. And look, these conferences, like the Big East, the ACC, also dominating as well, as they send 4 teams to the Sweet 16, and 3 of the teams from the Big East all into the Sweet 16. UConn, the number 1 overall seed, looking to run it back. When we come back,